Well, hello folks, it's the Great Southern Ancient Miniature Man here, and I've got another review, this time focusing on the Successor Cavalry by both First Corps and Aventine miniatures. And just in case you're not familiar with the term Successor, this refers to the kingdoms that arose after the death of Alexander the Great. You're probably aware Alexander the Great conquered most of mainland Greece before heading across and conquering Anatolia, Egypt, taking down the whole Persian Empire and really controlling everything right across to India, border of India, and Bactria, modern day Afghanistan. So quite fascinating history. He obviously died quite young at 32 in Babylon without any clear kind of succession plan. So from that point on, things, you could say, didn't go too smoothly for the new enormous empire, with a lot of squabbling between his various generals. So a whole lot of famous names cropped up here: Cassander, Perdiccas, Antipater, Lysimachus, Antigonus, and then Seleucus and Ptolemy were the two that founded dynasties that lasted the longest. So they all spent many years squabbling, fighting, warring, backstabbing, double-crossing. Incredible sort of history. And, if you're interested in Game of Thrones, if you read the history of this, you'll see that was an absolute picnic compared to what happened in the successor states. If you're interested, an excellent book on the topic will be Robin Waterfield's Dividing the Spoils. That's certainly where I got a lot of information from this and stimulate a lot of interest. The cavalry at the time all their troops really were very ornate and very colourful, which makes them really interesting to paint and a great topic for sort of wargaming. So I will give you a little view and review of my impressions of the two companies that I think make the best range. They're all metals, that is the Aventine and the First Corps. Right, so let's talk about the Aventine miniatures. So Aventine's a company in Northern Ireland, produce a great range of metal miniatures, both ancient and coming through to sort of the end, later Roman Empire. So a lot of recent models they've been making are from the Byzantine era and Sassanid, Persians, Parthians, that sort of thing. So they are beautifully sculpted miniatures. Let me show you. So some of them come, nice thing about the cavalry, some of them, I'll get these guys out of the way, come without heads, or with multiple heads, I really should say. So you can then choose which ones you want, and all the heads are beautifully sculpted and cast. Quite a range, and in fact you can buy a set of extra heads if you haven't got enough or you want to add them onto other models, which I've done. They're great. The scale is really very much similar to the sort of Victrix and Agema scale. So in terms of suiting those guys, fitting in seamlessly, they really work very well. Only thing, if you're actually trying to fit one of these onto a Victrix horse, let's say, the horses are generally a bit wider and you do have to bend their legs out a bit, which is not a big deal, but I've done that for a few miniatures, and yeah, certainly can do it. As you can see, the quality of the sculpting is really beautiful. There's very little flashing that needs cleaning off, and they're just hard to fault, really. Here's a nice trumpeter. I've got a couple more here that I've primed, and it's the very early stages of getting them ready for painting. All nice poses. These guys had the heads that I've attached, separate heads initially. I reckon they're great. Horse. They've got a lot of these horses with the half-barding armour, which from images I've seen of successors is quite a common form of armour, and also these very beautiful ornate crests on top of their helmeted heads. So yeah, they're lovely. Again, not a lot of flashing or stuff that needed to be cleaned off before giving it that basic wash that I've done. I think it's the same figure, not yet washed, or not quite. The leg poses are slightly different. So that's Aventine. As I say, they're good value for money. They're beautiful figures. They're a good company to deal with. Always very helpful. And the next one is the First Corps. I'll just show you a couple of them in comparison to the Aventine. So Aventine on the right, First Corps on the left. So you can see there's a moderate difference in the scale there. Another couple of guys for comparison. So I've got First Corps on the right, Aventine on the left. So certainly, about 10% smaller First Corps, which is about the only issue that separates them in my mind. I will be back with some more First Corps in a moment. Right, now this is actually Aventine before I get on to First Corps, and you can see they're actually Romans, not successors, but these are the only Aventine ones that I've actually completed as yet. So I thought I'd give you a quick look at them. You can see very nice horses and beautifully made Roman generals there. Quite happy with them. I'll just pop up my First Corps Seleucid Cavalry that I have completed here. And just did them in an interesting colour scheme. For some reason I've just gone with green, white and grey as my colour for the Seleucid Empire versus blue and yellow for the Ptolemaic. I haven't sort of started any Antigonid ones as yet. Now whilst I pop that there, I'm just going to read out some of the correspondence as I like to do. Getting a lot of interesting letters in from all around the globe, and I'll just let you know about some of the more interesting ones. So Rudolf H. from Berlin writes in. He says, Schweinhund, he says, warum keine Wehrmacht gemacht hast, Dummkopf. I'm not sure if he's signing off as Dummkopf or he's calling me Dummkopf. But I think he's assuming he's referring to World War II German infantry, which really outside of my interest area, Rudolf. But thanks for writing in and taking the time and taking the interest to make contact. I have done the German sky-clad warriors, if you're interested in all things Germania, and I've got quite a stockpile of ancient Germans, which I will get around to and post some reviews of later on. For the time being, if it's World War II enthusiasm you have, I do have a little set of some Anzacs I can show you later, which I'm sure will tickle your fancy. But anyway, on to the review of the First Corps Cavalry successors. So quite a few here ready for action, ready to be prepared and painted. Very nice miniatures again, and here's their riders. They've got these really cool, not sure the correct terminology, but these helmets that have a sort of built-in face mask modelled on a human face, but metal. They also have the armour right up their arms, and nice flowing cloaks at the back. So very cool. You can see a little bit of flashing. Get this guy out of the way. A little bit of flashing to be cleaned off, you can see here, but again, not a hell of a lot, not much work to get them ready for painting up. Standard there. Let's get another set of them. So again, we've got these cool ones with the half barding or slightly more ornate version of it at the front here, and the crest on the helmeted head again, similar to the Aventine. What else? We've got two more in that set. So most of them come in packs of 4, both companies. Well, particularly the First Corps, I think Aventine, sometimes packs of 3. Anyway, you can check their websites and have a look. Now these guys are probably the favourite of this lot. These are the mounted officers by First Corps. Look at this guy, he's just so cool. Big plumed, crazy helmet there, sword up, urging the troops onwards. Another one a bit more rested, taking his time. just trotting through the countryside. Trusty steed. Nicely armoured. That one's got the full armour front and back. Another, oh, this guy, he's the ultimate. Look at him. Incredible plumage there. So that's going to look so cool when it's painted up. So they're lovely. As I said before, really the only downside of them is the scale. If, you know, slightly smaller scale, 28mm miniatures is your thing, then these are absolutely perfect. If you want something to fit in more with your other slightly bigger ones, then they're probably not going to work quite so well. Just to show you a rough scale comparison, so going back to the completed ones here, now we've got a Victrix Greek light cavalry there, so you get a rough idea. The Greek Victrix guy is between about 5 and 10% bigger, certainly significantly broader, and yeah, a little bit longer. Here's another Greek cavalry from Victrix, again just a little bit bigger, not ridiculous. You know, and you put them in together, equal mix of each, you'd probably get away with saying some of them happen to be big horses and some small, but I think generally best kept as separate cavalry divisions, really. So that is that. Oh, just for Rudolph, extra special, Anzac infantry. There you go, mate. I hope you like that. No extra cost. So thanks everyone. Hope you enjoy the video. I've got plenty of others in mind. If you've got anything particular you want to see from the ancient world, let me know and I'll see if I can do it. So, you know, like, subscribe, press the bell button. All of it helps to control global warming. And thanks for coming. See ya.